recently, a focus group was done by the Daily Mail, and they spoke to undecided Black voters in Georgia to get their opinions on the upcoming presidential election and how they feel about Vice President Kamala Harris. And despite what you hear a lot in the mainstream media about who supports what and who doesn't support what, a lot of times it's really good just to go directly to the people and see how they feel. Sometimes it might shock you. So without further ado, I'm gonna get into this video and let's check out what they had to say.
Hand up if you think the economy is better under Trump, and hands up if you think the economy is better under Biden and Harris. Why? Okay, 7-1. That's pretty clear.
The truth. I'm not saying he's like, of course, yeah, like I do say, he has best. He still has a business mindset. I think that lended somewhat. And I think, yes, the trickle down of whatever previous stuff. And I think he just handles certain things a little better.
Who does?
Trump.
Les?
He provided more jobs, more opportunities.
Similar.
Even though he didn't have any experience in politics, but he came in and did a much better job.
Because he understands business. He's a businessman. See, understand, a lot of people don't realize that the United States of America is a corporation, and this corporation does business with other countries, other corporations, and we, the citizens, are the employees. We generate the GDP, and if you've heard that before, that stands for gross domestic product. That's what is created here and then exported to different countries, different places around the world, and for those exported products, we generate a revenue in return, and we pay taxes on that. Pay taxes on the import, pay taxes after you sell the product, you pay taxes on the materials you buy to make the product. You know, being in business myself and owning a training company, I've learned a lot over the years as far as you learn a lot about taxes and tax deductions and benefits and having to pay employees and benefits and how important these things really are. Where the average person, they may not have ever had to look at things from that. You know, most people are just concerned about their paycheck, making sure that their paycheck is right and wanting to take as much home as their paycheck. And they get a W-2 and they don't even have to worry about factoring in their taxes. It's done for them by their, you know, whatever number they put down is done for them by the employee, by the government, or whatever. So they don't really think about it. But one thing I always, you know, really want people to do is, as opposed to focusing on where you are, think about where you want to go. Think about where you may be in the next 2, 5, 10 years. Because what seems cool today, because you're focusing on what you may or may not have today, 10 years from now, when you do have it, will you really have it based on decisions made right now? Let's get back to hearing what it is that they had to say.
Look at the statistics now, we're far more worse now than we were before.
Firstly, I just want to ask a general question about Harris. Then we're going to show some clips from the debate. What's your biggest hesitation about voting for Kamala Harris?
Just, is she going to be able to do the things that she says she's going to be able to do? That's, you know what I mean? Just, is she going to be able to do it? That's my biggest hesitation. Is she going to be able to get it past Congress? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yep.
You know.
Mikhail, how about you?
Everything that glitters ain't gold.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, it looks great on paper.
People are waking up and starting to ask questions about policy. See, what happened in the Democrat Party, they got so used to you know, bringing out entertainers and wowing and having these good one-liners. And, you know, Black people, we're emotional people and we loyal and we ride with you. I mean, when you think about the voting block, no other people vote like Black people have voted historically over the last 60 years or so for the Democrat Party. Nobody else, no one else. They typically go with policies. Black people, just especially Black women, they vote, I believe, I've heard as high as a 95% clip Democrat. I mean, really look at who Kamala Harris and the Democrats are focused on. Their main thing they want to talk about, no matter what's going on, 100 million people could come across the border, but they're going to talk about smorshing. That's what they want to talk about. You know, those G-traductive rights. Forget about the economy, forget about the border, forget about crime. Your family might be broke, might get murdered, and maybe homeless, but at least you'll be able to go in and get that done if you like. Really think about that. And and that shows how out of touch they are, because the Black people that I speak with, that is important. You know, and the cool thing about it is by the fact that it's at the states, which I don't think a lot of people understand. If you live in a state where it's legal, it'll be legal. It's legal. your state, you got voting power over what that state does. You can get people together and you can make it as extremely liberal or as conservative as you like if you have the votes. That's power. That's democracy. That's democracy. So I think people don't understand that and don't realize. And then as far as anybody getting it back to the desk of the president and them, listen, the states would have to be willing to give it back, to even have Congress bring it up and create a bill that would have to pass Congress, pass the Senate to make it to the president's desk. That is not going to happen. It took 50 years just to get it back to the states. You think it's just going to flip right back? No, that's not going to happen. But yet the fact that they're using that as a reasoning for vote, it is so misleading. And I encourage people to do your own research. Do the research. You'll realize. And inside of that Roe v. Wade, you do realize that it did literally allow for the procedure all the way up into the average last month, which is typically in 9th. It allowed for the procedure up into that. Really look into that. Look into that. Now with the states, you have some states that are allowing it, but they just made it a little bit more where, okay, 24 weeks, boom, we're going to cut it right there. Some less than that, some less, and some I've heard as tight as 6. Like here in Florida, I believe it's 6, of which the voters are getting together, and that's going to change. But that's power of the people. But let me get back to this. But folks are waking up and starting to ask questions about policy. And every time they see VP Harris speak, no matter what the question, she goes in the middle class upbringing, and the lady who she called her second mom who owned the business, who, you know, in the spot that they lived above the cleaners or whatever it was. So people have heard this a lot of times. And with her getting in as late as she did after Joe Biden was removed from running, she really needed to explain herself. And that softball interview she did with Oprah did not do the trick. I'll tell you that. I'll share some about that later about how people feel about that. But get back to this.
But I'm not sure it could translate to policies, and if she'll even be able to get it passed.
Policy.
Haywood?
My thing is her strength. That's my focus with her. You know, and she's gonna be able to take a punch and give 1 or 2 backs. You know, I that's my biggest thing, and it has nothing to do with her gender, ladies. Okay, but we talking about the highest office in the land.
Yeah. If it was Michelle Obama, I would feel totally different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or Hillary Clinton, that's what I'm saying.
You can't be weak and hold that off.
Yeah, like if you put her next to Michelle Obama, it's like,
Or Hillary Clinton.
or Hillary Clinton, it's like it's no comparison on the strength that I think Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton would have against her.
And people love to just talk about Putin, but we're not even considering the other leaders in different parts of the world where their belief system is different from ours, where women have a different role in their societal structure. So how is that going to work? You know, and there's just a lot more that goes into it. Not saying whether it's right or wrong, but it is what it is. So we just always like to talk about Putin and Ukraine. There's a whole lot of other leaders out there that are cunning, that are highly intelligent, that are ruthless, and have a different worldview as far as of the role of women in their society and how they interact and deal. And as a matter of fact, many of them have never had to interact and deal with women in a certain capacity on a certain level. So that's something that has to be taken into consideration. It would be an experiment of a never known, unknown to the modern era. And are you really willing to risk it all? You know, like, just really consider that stuff.
They will eat her up.
How did Harris come across then? How did she do up against him? Haywood says that, you know, big personality. How did she do? How did she come across?
She kept saying that she's a warrior and she's going to fight, but I don't know if you're as strong as, I mean, I get it, what you feel, but I don't think you are as like a warrior, like fighter, like she says she is.
Right.
That's just my opinion. Not that I don't think she doesn't care. And like I said, she used a lot of appealing to emotion, like anecdotal, like
and they want you to believe that all black people are supporting
evidence
Kamala
instead of
Harris.
like, you know, she used some facts, but just like to like appeal to people like, hey, I'm just like, to try to get people on her side.
No, I don't think the bar was set pretty high when it comes to that. When it comes to her speaking, I believe the last debate with Biden set it really low. So I believe she did a lot better than Biden. But that's pretty much what I got.
And they're both old. Biden is old. Trump is old. And we need to get some young folks in there that knows, have an idea of what's going on now. So that's my
Respect.
Yeah, it was several times where he kept referring to her as they. He almost didn't even address her. He kept saying goodbye. He didn't say her name at all.
Yeah, or that's your boss. Basically, that's your boss. You're just doing what Biden wants to do.
Yeah, and it does make you wonder, right? Because it's kind of he's saying stuff y'all just ousted him, and I'm like, well, that's not what happened. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, what if that is what happened? Now
That
she's
is what happened.
so it's difficult to jump on board 100% because you do kind of you've seen it. We've lived through now, multiple elections, and we've seen how they turned out. So as a person, I do think she's a better person than he is overall character-wise. And that's why, more people I think are leaning towards her. I don't know if that 100% means she'll do a better job in the office.
Final question on Harris in this debate then. From what you've seen so far, pick your hand up if you think she's strong enough. Keep your hand down if you've got doubts whether she's strong enough. So put your hand up if you think Harris is strong enough.
Yes.
I think she's strong enough.
Yeah, just enough. Yeah. just enough. Yeah.
Is that strength that everybody see in the beginning, is it gonna last throughout her 4 years?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She looked good against Mr. Trump. I don't know, I didn't see it. But when you have to face these other leaders from these other countries, are you gonna have what it takes to stand there and throw punches like they throw a punch?
Yeah.
I'm hearing more doubts even from those who got their hands.
Yeah, I think she's strong enough. Just enough.
Now.
Enough.
Oh.
Wow. So the people have spoken, and those are undecided voters in Georgia, just giving their opinion, and that's something to take in perspective. Because like I say, again, the media wants you to believe, one thing about Black people, which I'm proud to be a Black man, is that we are highly intelligent and we don't all think as a huge block. Now, we may move as a block, and that was out of loyalty. And it was just due to the perspective of what had been, the information that had been told about how certain rights had come about. And yet, the more people even dig into that, you begin to peel back the layers and you learn things about the Civil Rights Voting Act, and you learn wow, the Democrats really fought against that. And it was Republicans whose vote actually helped Lyndon Johnson pass that. With the help of Everett Dirksen, who was the leader of the Republican side. And, you learn about the filibuster, the longest filibuster in the history of the Senate, and it was over Civil Rights Bill. So, and that was the Democrats. And you just start saying, wow, but again, neither here nor there. Those were undecided voters in Georgia that were speaking. So glad you stopped and checked it out. And if you are somebody that's right now in this economy that may be struggling a little bit and you're in sales. I know a lot of people who are in automotive sales tend to watch these videos. I highly encourage you to visit the Selling for Success site. There's some awesome sales training videos, manuals, downloads, everything that you would need to be able to start converting more customers, holding more gross on those deals, and really bringing that fun into the business. Because how fun is it when you're not really making money, right? And just over the last 12 years and up to over 20,000 salespeople trained nationwide have benefited from the information. So visit sellingforsuccess.org and just check it out. Other than that, appreciate you watching the video. Hopefully you like the video, share the video. If you aren't subscribed, hit the subscription button, turn on the notification bell, hit all so you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Other than that, I'm Brian Maxwell. Look forward to seeing you at the top and on the next video. Over now.